Been a little while, but I've had some great questions from people, believe it or not, around the world. And right now, I'd like to share one with you guys from Estonia, believe it or not. This person is named Kurt, and he writes, "Hi, I wanted to know how much the U.S. historic racing community is familiar with the Eastern Bloc racing series and cars." He's talking about the Soviet Union, guys. In your VinWiki videos about racing, you have mentioned that the field of cars that attend the races is very wide and varied. To lead me to wonder if any Soviet race cars have found their way into these clubs and events. The first example that popped into my head was the Estonia 21, a Lotus-inspired ground effect car for the Formula Easter class. The online documentation on these is scarce and mostly in Russian, probably. But there are photos and videos of the machines and even a few mods for some racing simulators made by die-hard fans. The vehicles have started to make a comeback in the Baltics with a special race for the manufacturer cars and a legacy company, which restores cars for customers. A little bit about myself as well. I'm a 22-year-old college student studying journalism at the University of Tartu. I looked it up. It's in Estonia, which for us Americans who never get to learn anything, that's just south of Finland, that's just west of St. Petersburg, and it's north of Poland. Anyway, University of Tartu. I have been a gearhead ever since I could distinguish makes and models, but my knowledge and interest has been mostly theoretical, as I've never had a garage to work on anything, and I've also failed to notice opportunities around me. I currently drive around in my mom's 2016 Peugeot 308 with a 1.6-liter turbo 4-cylinder and a 6-speed auto. Although I know how to drive stick and prefer it. I imagine you do, man. You're not a lazy American with an automatic. I did try to live the life of a car owner, but I made the cardinal mistake of trying to daily a project car and also didn't have the means to actually work on a project car, which was a 1997 Mitsubishi Colt, or Mirage in the US market. It had developed a nasty head gasket leak and I couldn't fix it due to financial and technical problems. So I ended up selling it for a folk rally project, I think. Everything I managed to do on the car, however, improved the dailability of the car, like wheels and tires, which allow more than just me and a half-empty shopping bag in the car and emission stuff for tech inspection. And I cleaned the engine because that was crucial, of course. I made a Google Drive folder for the pictures because most, if not all of them, are in RAW format and wouldn't fit in this email. I hope this was enough to get you started on the research and maybe even sparked interest in trying to get one for ultra niche cool points. Regards, Kurt. And he's very nice. He writes, you can pronounce my name as Kurt, K-U-R-T, because it's easier that way, but it's spelled here, K-E-R-T. Well, thanks, man. I'm really glad you wrote. And that really means a lot to me that you're thinking of this and really thinking of the whole world and racing. To answer your question about how much do the U.S., and especially the vintage racing community or racing community, know about Eastern Bloc cars, we don't. We don't know squat. And let me make this point as to why, because there's something much bigger going on that I think all of my young American friends need to listen to. So I'm going to talk about space for a minute. This is a pretty typical book you can buy in the United States on America in space. It's big. It shows a lot of stuff and obviously a lot of pride. Going to the moon, space, all the technology, all the men. Oh my gosh, Neil Armstrong. Have you heard of him? But there was one day where, I think maybe when I bought this book, that I wanted books so I could learn about Russia in space and the Russian side of the space race. And I looked and looked and looked through our bookstores to find that because it was called a space race for a reason. You know, I'd like to learn about Russia and their technology and their people. And you know what the best I could find? One book. Keep in mind, I've got more books like this on America. One I just gave to little Gene, the hamster we call him at Genius Garage, to learn and get study from. This is the best I could do. This little paperback book. That's pathetic. But this is telling of something of our cultures and countries, or at least the United States, and learning anything. I mean, I swear the United States think that the whole world is one giant football game. You know, and the kind where there's a rivalry and they don't have very good sportsmanship to the other one. So it's more than that. But, I mean, seriously? This is about the best that we can generally find to learn about the Russian spacecraft? Give me a break. Like, come on, America. Don't be afraid of learning from the rest of the world, you know? So I hate to say it, man, and as you can all have guessed it, I don't know squat about these race cars. But I looked it up. The 21 you mentioned is a cool car. And certainly, I'm sure it's a fast car, a neat car, and interesting technology and craftsmanship. And I got to say, I would love to learn from that. I'd love to learn more, and thank you for sharing that with me. You know, frankly, with Genius Garage and teaching, I couldn't think of anything better than if I were able to get my hands on one here in the States to restore with the students, learn from its engineering, learn from the people who originally built it, and race it. It's just my opinion that we as people, the human race, you know, the whole world, get better from learning from each other, where we've all been, you know, our passions, our pitfalls, our successes, our failures. And that just makes us better in the future. And quite frankly, brings people together, which I gotta say, America, come on, guys, we can do better than this. Like, let's learn from others. So, yeah, man, we don't know. But I hope you guys will look up this Estonia 21. And you know what? Let's all take a minute to look up Eastern Bloc race cars. Let's learn about the history as best we can. Because it's not just all, you know, Ferrari and Jaguar and McLaren and Corvette, la-di-da. There's a big world out there, and there's lots to learn from. So, Kurt, I really appreciate you writing. I guess I don't have too much to say, other than I think it's amazing. You wrote me a wonderful email. You're obviously very interested in racing, very interested in cars. You've got your own project car, you know, you're working on, and you know, you're talking about your mother's cars and driving around. So you're obviously a gearhead, true and true. So I think that's pretty cool and pretty admirable. I apologize, give you much advice in terms of your area with opportunities and where to look at, but I will tell you this. I would love for there to be other Genius Garages around the world in other countries. So with a little bit of luck, maybe one day I'll get to meet you. Who knows? Maybe one day we'll get to have Genius Garages out of there and close to you all around the world. That'd mean a lot to me. It's a big world, guys, but we can all come together and learn from each other. And it's been my experience that you have a lot of fun getting to know different people and getting to find out what you have in common and what you can do together. So guys, that's really all I've got for you today, but give it some thought. Look up the Estonia 21, and if any of you can find me some cool books on the Russian space program that unfortunately I'll be able to read in English because this is America and we never hardly get to learn any other languages. I'm sorry for all of us. It's a big country. I'd love that. So hit me up. You guys, look up Estonia 21. Let's look up some Eastern Bloc race cars. This will be fun, and maybe come back to it. So in the meantime, I hope you guys have enjoyed this and that you will like, comment, and subscribe. See you next time.